compared to where we were 6 months ago, the outlook generally for Mezz is probably improved in the sense that there's less bank appetite to provide senior debt. Some of the other competing products like high yield have receded somewhat. So there's more opportunity, I think, for mezzanine lenders. Obviously, the challenge is that the economic environment is quite difficult. So selecting which companies to lend money to is always critical, but it's particularly, I suppose, acutely in focus right at the moment. But if you can select well, then there's a very good chance to earn some outstanding risk-adjusted returns from mezzanine lenders. And so I think we're looking at it from our perspective at Beechbrook, where we lend to small to medium-sized companies in Northern Europe. We're seeing an increasing level of inquiries of people who are interested in talking to us about providing some money. So on the whole, we're encouraged. Well, we're still focused mainly on the buyout space. So mostly we're being approached either directly by sponsors who are looking to buy a company or maybe add on to an existing portfolio company, sometimes by their advisors who help them to put their debt package together. And that remains our main focus. And I suppose most of those businesses are being bought because they've got some heterogeneous growth opportunity, which may not be a function of great optimism about the wider macro market, but there's something that they're doing particularly well in their space and they're looking to grow a product line or maybe grow through acquisition. So that's generally where we're getting involved. We do get approaches directly from companies. Generally we don't lend directly into corporates without there being some kind of institutional involvement. There can be exceptions, but that's normally not what we're doing. However, we are seeing more and more inquiries as their conventional sources of finance, particularly the banks, are less available than they have been historically. So there's an interesting opportunity there, if not quite so much for us, certainly for other people. Well, I think for people who want to be lending mezzanine, I think the key is to be a little bit flexible. And certainly we've managed to put a reasonable amount of money to work over the last 12-18 months, but it's been, I think that's mainly because we've been prepared to, as I'm sure lots of other people here are, we've been willing to move the shape of the product around to fit the circumstances. Sometimes we're going in as the only lender, sometimes we're lending more in a preferred equity role, sometimes it's conventional mezz. There can be cash interest, sometimes there's a bit of a dialogue with the bank about how that's going to work. I think as long as we're not too prescriptive, we can interpret our mezzanine role reasonably broadly, provided that we're lending to companies that we believe in, and management teams we believe in, then there's plenty of opportunity. I think if you're too rigid about what you do with your product, maybe it's more difficult to get traction in the market.